guy didn't get fired because I said no. You know, he thought it was funny, but not to do it again. I didn't want to see him lose his job. He had 4 children. Now, why in the hell was he doing that? I was doing nothing provocative. I was doing my job, laying in basically black grease, cleaning out a machine.
Yeah. And it's not like you
But
asked
he thought
for
he
it to
had
happen,
the right
but he just
to do that.
Yeah,
but
he thought
so many men have that mindset. You know, and that's
they have
what
the
it's
mindset
got,
of it's not a big deal.
It's got to change.
And you know what? That's what's working right now. Is that it's working on change right now. And the first part of it is bringing awareness to how much and how vast it's really occurring. How many times it's really happening, and how right beside you it's happening. It's happening every day, every situation, every which way, every 16 million ways from Sunday. It's happening.
It's in politics. It's in the workplace. It's in Hollywood. I mean, it's
it's at home.
It's your next door neighbor. You know, it's everywhere.
It's in the pedestrian walkway across the street. I mean, it happens everywhere. It's on the airplane going to your business meeting across the state or something. It's going to your car before you even get in.
I think what we're going through right now is kind of like the time that, remember, what was that movie that scared the hell out of men where the woman just went berserk? Remember that, Rich?
It'll come to me in a minute. Give me more details.
Michael. Oh shit! It was a real.
Oh, are you talking about the one with Michael Douglas for the Fatal Attraction?
Yeah, and Glenn Close.
Glenn Close, yeah.
Remember how that scared men to death? For quite some time. I think what we're going through right now is going to kind of be the same thing as far as scaring men, I think.
And and what's really funny about it, scaring men, the whole phrasing of that is that, there's been a lot of, along with the people who have said, I don't see why they're coming and talking about it 30 years later, the people that are right beside those people saying that are the people that are saying, oh, it's a scary time to be a man right now. And that's been a big trend statement on, on the social media sites. And what's really funny is that it's got a lot of feedback, not a feedback, but fallback too, because it's like, pardon my language, but are you an asshole? Are you a jerk? Are you going to sit there? Are you violating someone? Are you harassing people? Well, then it's not a scary time for you. And
I had a friend of mine say just the other day. He said, we were talking about all of this, and he said he's 64 years old and single too. And he goes, well, he said, Cherry, he said, if I go out on a date, what will I do? What would I know to do and not to do? He said, I don't know. He hasn't dated since, he was dated his wife, like 40 years ago.
Well,
and so these kind of things are going through men's minds now. What are we allowed to do now? What are we allowed to say?
Like what it honestly ends up being, though, I got a wonderful piece of advice that I tell everybody. Just ask. I mean, women as gender, we're not like, praying mantises. We're not going to devour you when we're done. I mean, it's not like if you do anything, we're going to just sit there and gobble you up and then walk away and carry out our merry little day. We're not going to do that. So if you really want to know, hey, is it okay for me to put my arm around you? Yes. Just legit, you can honestly just straight ask us, and we will like you more for the sake that you ask than anything else, I swear. If you or ask, hey, may I kiss you? You know what? That's a very sweet question to ask somebody. I don't care who you are. I'm 29 years old. I'm part of the younger generation that's stupid as heck. I mean, it's no, and as rude as I'll get out. I'm part of those people. But it still is a very humbling thing for someone to respect you enough to care whether or not you want them there or you want them to do something. And person to person, adult to adult, you should be able to ask anybody anything.
Well, and if you're together and you've dated someone and blah blah, and the man, if he says, it's getting kind of time for the sex, and the man says, can I make love to you, or may I make love to you? That's
right.
That's been said to me, more than once, and that's the best thing to do is to ask.
If you're not sure whether what you're doing is appropriate or welcomed or warranted, for the love of all that is holy, pull out your 5th grader or your 5-year-old and ask us. Get your curious little mind at work and just ask the random question, because I was always been raised, the only stupid question is the one you do not ask. And there are, and it ain't going to hurt to be told no. I mean, you should be the same way after the no as you should be after the yes. I mean, nothing should change. You just asked a question, and now you know. And knowledge is power, so go forth and know things. Ask things. People just don't ever want to ask anything about anything, much less about being able to touch somebody else or interact with somebody else intimately. I mean, nobody, beyond that, no one ever wants to just ask. And
well, that's where I think the mindset is starting to change a little bit from just, the guy just jumping on the woman, after a date or a few dates or whatever. Now it's like they're going to start asking permission, or they should. They should. If they're smart, they should.
Just because you go out with someone, there should be no assumption that you're going to get laid. I mean, that shouldn't be what you're going out for. If you want to go out and just randomly have sex with somebody, you should be honest with yourself enough to be upfront with you and whomever it is you're involved with to do so. I mean, it's 2017. You need to get past the little faux pas barrier and what you think might be taboo to say, and just straight up and just be honest with you and whomever your business is with, because that's just the way it should be. The simplest and most peaceful way to exist together is to just be honest.
And it's a way for the man to protect himself too.
Yes, it's not even just about it's
that way. If you give permission, you can't come back later and say, hey, and say, this guy raped me. You can't do that, which I'm sure it does happen. I'm sure, but I mean,
most
generally probably not.
Yeah, usually after you're starting to go through with it, well, then, you've already consented and you're going through it. Now, granted, at any time you can say no and make your no known, of course. If you change your mind, you can do that. And if it still persists, well, then that's a violation against your wishes, and there's no more consent, between both parties. And, to me, anyway, that's the way I feel about it. That, but if you can...
Hey, Rich, you got any rants?
One of the comments I was going to make I was going to respond to what Haley's just saying there. There's a book, and I'm sure you're familiar with it, Cherry, and you may be as well, Eddie. Robert Fulghum, like that, I may be mispronouncing his last name. Everything I needed to know in life I learned in kindergarten. It's a wonderful book. He wrote several, but that's one of his first ones. And it has these life lessons, and it's basically, all of it boils down to respect. Respect for the other person, respect for the other person's wishes.
Well, and a lot of it's just plain common sense, too,
Yeah, if you think about it, it is.
But so many, there's, I've found throughout my lifetime that so many men, they don't think with their heads. They don't think with their brain,
Yeah.
I'm not saying all, I'm saying an awful lot.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of people. It's hard to find genuine good people who have respect for themselves and others, and who actually think. And that's what makes those special people so special. And and we all have them in our lives. Those people that can't blend in with the crowd because they're meant to stand out and be different, because they are. And yet, so many of the masses, it's vast with how many just how many are just absolutely Neanderthals whenever it comes to interaction or things that are smart to do instead of just doing what they want.
People are just still to this day, people are flabbergasted because, men will rape and men will do this. And, men, an awful lot of men, not all, but an awful lot of men will push the envelope if they can.
Yeah,
they will push it as far as they can. And the only thing that I can say is it's testosterone. That's all in the hell it can be, is testosterone. Apparently I think some have a lot. Well,
Terry, tonight would have been a good night for Dan Patrick to be on. He always has a lot of testosterone when he's on the show.
Yeah. He's probably a real Neanderthal,
you and he have had a few classic moments, and I need to do a best of show that contains all the moments between you and Dan.
Yeah, he would definitely be a Neanderthal, I'm sure.
He's in Tampa, Florida. I did contact him to try to get him on the show tonight, but I guess he's busy, you know what, with the holidays and what have you. But we're going to have more rant shows. Don't worry. There's going to be plenty more of them.
Oh, guys, my phone's trying to kill itself, and I don't have a charger long enough to really make a difference. My life support is in another room.
We passed the 1 hour mark, so as I'm willing to call it a show if you guys are. I want to tell you both I appreciate you calling in tonight. Thanks for being part of tonight's rant show, and I want to wish you
nice talking to all of you.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Too. And happy holidays everywhere, y'all. It was really nice.
Right. And good luck to you. I hope you either get more hours on your job or you can find another job.
Well, I appreciate it, and thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. It'll work out however it's supposed to work out, and I know I'll be all right for it either way.
Yeah. Well, just stay strong.
Classic holiday tradition to all a good night.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Bye-bye.